News Radio 840 WHAS. Good Sunday morning. Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show, with you until the top of the hour. With us here in the studio, my friends and also colleagues, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service. You can reach Home Team. They come in as a team. They're the #1 Home Team Inspection Service now 6 years in a row in the country. 844-411-TEAM. Brad, welcome.
Good morning.
Also here, one of the best closing attorneys in this city, if not this country. Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices. You can reach Chuck at 499-6360. Good to have you here, sir.
Good to see you.
And son Greg is actually off today, and you can reach me anytime because we are continually looking for homes to list and sell. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes, but you can reach me on my cell phone anytime after the show, 376-5483. That's 502-376-5483. Some news, folks, just as we start the show. June home sales soared as the number of homes for sale grew. That was for the first time in 15 months. A nationwide housing shortage, you've heard of it, topic of conversation, concern from consumers, home builders, policymakers, and real estate companies in recent years. An increase in the number of homes for sale in June of 2021 was welcoming news. That's according to RE/MAX National Housing Report for June of 21. That just came out. Also, fewer offers are facing competition in June. Bidding wars are still more common than a year ago, but economists are starting to notice the competition lessens somewhat as the housing inventory gradually enters the market, as we're telling you, and buyers may face some relief from the intense bidding wars that have sent home prices surging in recent months. And we should point out to all of you that if you climbed on the fence thinking, I don't want to get in the bidding wars, well, now may be the time to climb back off the fence because things are going well. Business First says Louisville ranks for the first time one of the top 25 areas in the country for first-time home buyers. That's great news, and that's because the cost of homes is so low here to start with, right?
That was great news. Good to see that. Finally getting some publicity for Louisville.
There you go. Good news, too. And then finally, rental prices broke records. In 44 cities in last month, a shortage of home sales, of course, of forcing prospective buyers to rent. That's driving prices up in the rental market. And the median rental price in June jumped 8.1% compared to a year ago. That's a big jump in home prices. We got a lot of questions that have come in. We're doing our COVID shows continually, and I'm kind of worried, of course, about this Delta variant, but we keep moving forward. So basically, normally we have you on the air, but we can't with our limited technology, and even in the 21st century, there are some limits. We use Zoom. We push the Zoom meeting or this meeting up to YouTube. You can see a replay at LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's LouisvilleAnswers.com. Send an email to me if you have a question, and we'll put it on the air. And again, the questions are pretty simple. Bob@WeSellLouisville.com, subject line radio question, and insert in there questions, and we'll get to a couple of yours that just came in a day or so in just a moment. First, Chuck. Pat is a real estate agent here in Louisville. He says he's licensed in Kentucky. He's asking if he lists his home on a Monday and puts it on the MLS, and no offers in the description, no offers will be accepted until Friday. And an offer comes in, which is possibly happening around the world here, doing it with this inventory. Offer comes in before Friday. Can he refuse or can he legally accept that offer?
Well, he doesn't have to accept it. I mean, that's...
But if he wants to, since he stated in the multiple listing
I see where you're going with that. I thought we were like, can he just not pay attention to it? Well, of course he cannot pay attention to it. But if he wants to take it, well, I think this is a difference or a difference without a distinction. You just don't accept it till Friday. Tell the guy to send it back to him. But it's not going to go away.
It might be that the offer expires
early.
Yeah, if he accepts it early,
that's when you might run into a problem. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. So what if he accepted it but didn't mark it pending or active under contract until Friday? So in other words, if the terms were really good and the deadline to expire was earlier than Friday, and he accepts it and just doesn't go public with it, good or bad?
bad. The actuality is what the courts look at. If it's a duck, or if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, waddles like a duck, it's a duck. So you're not, just because you can manipulate the technology not to show it, then you've got an issue. I don't know about the MLS technical stuff. Is it possible to go back and change it?
Yeah, you could. Yeah. That could be a plausible.
Just go back and amend it.
Yeah, amend it. Or just pull it out. Yeah. Pull out that part of it if you get that offer. So, all right, something else. Gary asks. He says, "Bye, Bob, longtime listener from your WHS morning show and computer show and now real estate show. Thanks for that, Gary." He says, "When it comes to sell, I'll be calling you." Well, I appreciate that as well. He says, "I'm retiring in a couple of years or so." And he's asking, "My home is built in 1986. I've been making improvements recently, but have had a number of things I need to improve or fix or remodel. I'd love to find out how easy or hard it would be to sell in its current condition or making repairs and improvements in order of importance." So Gary, when you're ready, I'll come out, or even before that, no problem on that. That's not a big deal at all. But what I'm going to suggest, and Brad, I'm going to go to you in a second for some responses as well. I would suggest that you look online at homes that are on the market. You can use Zillow or Realtor.com to see how homes in your neighborhood look. Make sure that your home is at least equal. And I'm not talking about putting in high-end granite or new cabinets, but make sure it looks equal, and then strive to get your home looking like a model. And this goes for Gary or everybody else or anybody else. You do not have to put a lot of money into getting your home sold these days because the market is so hot. In fact, if you invest a lot of money, like upgrading from regular Formica countertops up to granite countertops, you'll end up losing money when you go to sell. You'll get maybe 80% at most of what you paid for those granite countertops. So suggestion here, basically for all of our listeners, go in, get it up to at least the standards of your area. So there's no holes in the Formica. Again, I'm centering on kitchen. If a lot of the homes in your area of town have a stainless steel appliances, you may want to think about doing that, but only get the very basic stainless steel packages that you can get on sale. Brad, thoughts from you?
Yeah, so I happen to live in that very same era house, and my son just bought that same era house in Boise, Idaho. So I can talk from personal experience. You know, you're probably going into the end of the second life of the water heater, potentially the furnace, potentially the air conditioner compressor, also windows, and maybe the roof. So the thing that I would recommend is that he would have some of those areas serviced, at least have the units looked at before he goes to do a listing, just so that he understands what the actual condition of it is. I mean, I don't know, Bob, you would know better about return on windows. I don't know that I would be hard pressed to, recommend replacing windows, but there may be some windows that have had, broken thermal seals or need a little bit of maintenance, before they put the house on the market. Because some of the windows, 30, 40, 50 years, they hardly show anywhere at all. Others, probably should have been replaced, 10 to 15 years ago. We see the gamut, on the inspection. So it's hard to just say, here's the time. But those are the big things we see on inspections.
And I would tell you that for windows in particular, if they're broken seals, you're right on target there to get those replaced or at least repaired. And it's really not an easy way to repair those. Cracked windows, get those repaired. If the windows, what's it's not chinking, but what's the thing that on the older windows that holds the windows in seal against, there's a word for it. You know what it is? I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, I'm stuck on tensioner is what I got.
Yeah, no, it's around the window frames themselves. Yeah, right. If that's cracking, peeling, pulling apart, it may be time to either have those glazing. It's glazing. It just came to me in my head. Glazing.
Yeah, glazing would be a little bit a different type of construction. But yes, you're right, because you're going to have problems with any of the insulation, any of the exterior trim pieces, maybe cracking. You need a little bit of touch-up work on them to seal them up.
And this for all people listening to us, if you're planning to sell in the next 5 or 10 years and your windows are in bad condition now, if you can afford it, replace them now and get the enjoyment out of the windows as opposed to replacing them right before you sell, because you'll still have to pay price. You'll pay more money, in fact, and then you don't get enjoyment out of it. So I'm a big believer in doing it now, if you can afford it, obviously. All right.
Well, you'll save money on energy, and your house will be quiet, and your carpets and fabrics won't fade as quickly either with modern windows.
True. More questions. Again, Bob at WeSellLouisville.com is the email address. Put your question, say radio question in the subject line, and then the question in the body. And this is for Chuck. Chuck Lee has an interesting question. He says he's selling a home. And it's interesting. We're getting a number of these types of questions, just a sign of the times. He's selling a home. They have an offer of $225,000 on it. They had the home originally listed for $200,000. So it's listed for $200,000. He had an offer of $225,000, and there's a guarantee that the buyer will guarantee $5,000 over the appraisal if the appraisal comes in lower than $225,000. Now, that appraisal came in at $215,000. Lee's agent says he'll get $220,000 if you do the math. That's basically $215,000, $5,000 over, $220,000. But Lee says, I want the original $225,000 that was in the offer. So does he have any recourse?
Probably not. If he's using the GLAR contract, it says it's contingent on the first appraisal of the bank. I mean, that's, if there's financing involved, then no, there's really not much you can do about it.
No, you can ask, you can try to negotiate it, but ultimately,
you know, the worst they can do is say no, but he can't force that issue.
Moving forward, Samantha purchased a home that had just been flipped, and now we're going to all see a lot of this. Because there were so few homes on the market and there were 20 other offers on the home she bought, she did not have a home inspection. She wrote that into the contract. Now she's seeing problems with electrical and water leaks. So she's wondering, what recourse does she have? And
the same recourse.
Same thing as what?
The same as you would have any other way. If somebody's done shoddy work and they tell you it's, you know, it's fine, or it's, you know, a patent defect, like there's holes in the roof or something like that, and they knew about it or should have known about it, well, you can still go at them for misrepresentation. But, you know, if you go in without a home inspection, you've got a tougher row to hoe, as it were, trying to prove that they did try to pull the wool over your eyes.
Brad, from your standpoint, I know you and I have always talked about a home inspection is important. And even if you don't act on it, if you reserve the right to withdraw the offer based on a home inspection, and I realize that's not as glamorous to a seller if you just waive the home inspection. And there are a lot of people who have lost a lot of offers because someone said, I'll take the house without a home inspection. But there really should be some sort, even if you're not going to act on it, you need to know what you're getting into, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I don't know why I would jeopardize my financial future and current position based on taking on someone else's problem. Yeah, I'm a home inspector, so it sounds disingenuous for me to say every home should be inspected before the transaction. But what I will tell you is that we are getting calls almost every day with people who have now moved into these houses. It had been suggested to them that they waive the home inspection. They've now gotten into the homes and they say, I think I got a lot of problems here. I don't even know where to start. So we're doing home inspections for people who, you know, who waived it, have now moved in and need a professional to come in, because we're not selling anything. We just do the inspection. We're not trying to sell them any systems, roofs, anything else. We just tell them, here's what the defects are, help them generate the list of repairs and how to approach it. But yes, I talk to a lot of agents, you know, on the listing side. They love it when they have offers that don't, have the inspection waived. But when they represent buyers, those same agents would never allow their buyer to waive the inspection. So it's it puts the buyer in a really, really tough spot.
And we should point out to agents, if you're writing an offer that says, and Chuck jumped in on this, if it says the buyer is waiving the home inspection, it would be to the agent's advantage to have a document signed by the buyer that against the agent's advice, they're waiving it to protect the agent.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. All right. And incidentally, if you would like to see, we've got a couple of new things to tell you about. If you want to get on our newsletter, we have a newsletter that's going out twice a month. You just go to sokolerteam.com, Sokoler Team, SOKOLER team.com. Also, if you want to see what the sellers are saying about us, go to LouisvilleSellersTalk.com. Read our reviews, Louisville Zillow We're going to take a break. Back in a moment. In the studio with us, I should also tell you, we've got Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices, 499-6360. Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service, 844-411-TEAM. And you can reach me anytime on my cell phone, 376-5483. Now, back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS. Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show, here with you till the top of the hour. Thank you so much, Barbara Corcoran. We love your friendship and adore you. You do a great job on Shark Tank. You can reach me anytime at 376-5483. Also here with us, fielding questions that have been emailed into us, Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices at 499-6360. And also, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service. They hire veterans. They come in as a team, and you can reach Brad and his team at 844-411-TEAM. And if you'd like to see a replay of today's show, go to LouisvilleAnswers.com. And if you want to see some of the videos that we produce for our clients, because we're constantly trying to push the envelope into a new realm of being able to market homes, go to LouisvilleHomesTV.com, LouisvilleHomesTV.com. All right, back to the questions. So, Chuck, Samantha wrote in about a recent purchase of a home. She says she really feels her agent dropped the ball and did not do a good job representing her. Apparently, the appraisal came back low. The sellers wanted her to come up with more money to pay the difference between the appraisal and the contract price. The deal fell apart because she says she's blaming her agent for not being more aggressive. Is there anything that she can do against her agent?
Well, first off, I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you go to court, everybody, if both sides swear that the judge was corrupt, chances are justice was had. Nobody's happy with it. It's a tough situation. Was her agent aggressive enough? I don't know that there is any statutory standard as to define that. So no, based on that. Now, if there were instances of incompetence where letters weren't sent, offers expired, deadlines expired, well, that's a whole different ball of wax. But not being aggressive enough is too vague of a concept to even begin to define.
Okay, got it. This one, Brad, we're going to start with you and then toss it over to Chuck on this. Charlotte selling her home, and she says she got a pretty good price for it. But one of the problems found by the inspector was termites. And Charlotte agreed to the buyer's request and the repair request to have the home treated for termites, but the buyer agent never put it in writing. Make note, Chuck. They put a request in an email, but never put in a formal addendum saying that the buyer is requesting termite treatment and the seller signing that addendum. The appraisal came back $30,000 below contract price. Charlotte had to come off of her price, and the buyers had to come up with money as well to make the deal work. So Charlotte, who's the seller, is distraught because she didn't get the money that she wanted because the appraisal came in low. And now Charlotte says because she had come down in price, she doesn't want to do the termite treatment since it was never officially responded to by her. So let's start with Brad, because from the standpoint of selling a home, Brad, why is a report about termite treatment needed to be addressed by a seller?
Okay, so many loans require a WDI, or wood destroying insect or termite inspection. Some loans, cash offers, don't require it, but in this area we have termites. So a large percentage of home inspections that we do also include a termite inspection along with it, and we're looking for evidence of termite activity or carpenter ants, other things that destroy wood and cause structural defects in homes. So those during that inspection, it may be noted that there might be evidence of previous treatment. We run into those situations. Kentucky has changed their rules here recently that requires, even if a treatment has been done, the seller has to provide the documentation of the treatment. So it used to be that as long as there was just visible evidence of it, then that was enough for the termite company to take on a warranty of the structure. But yeah, you definitely want to have a termite inspection done or a WDI inspection done as part of that that transaction, just to protect your the structure of the home. If you run into a situation where a house is not treated and there's activity, the house of course can be treated. It's probably $500 to $1,000 depending on the house, and then you buy a warranty, which you pay an additional fee every year to cover the insurance on it. But it is something that homes in this area, you want to have a termite protection warranty as part of the deal.
All right, so let's slide over to Chuck on this, because this becomes a legal issue. Charlotte said verbally that she would do it, but then went ahead and is reneging because of the appraisal difference. Thoughts on that from a legal standpoint?
From a legal standpoint, I don't know that I would use the word reneging, mainly because she never signed anything that said she would do it. Verbal agreements don't fly. Statute of frauds. All contracts for the sale of real estate have to be in writing, signed by all parties. I think maybe the realtor should have pushed a little harder on that one to get that signature. You just don't go with a I'll take care of that. Prove it. That's why we have the statute of frauds.
There you go. All right. Note, everybody, if your home has not sold or you're thinking of selling, we can help you. Go to LouisvilleHouseDoctors.com and fill out our form. And yes, we do make house calls. And I should tell you something interesting. This past week, we took over 2 listings from 2 really good realtors in the Louisville area, and it's our marketing. And so I feel it's a thank you to those realtors who found that they can trust us to do it. We've just about got one offer. Actually, we got one offer in on one of the homes we took over, and the other one we just put on the market the other day. So we'll see what happens. All right, we got a couple minutes left. More questions here. Chuck, Carl says he sold his house and is getting ready to go to the closing. His agent told him that among the fees he'll be paying for is an attorney. I guess a closing attorney like you.
Okay.
So Carl is saying, so why do I have to pay for the buyer's attorney? Shouldn't he have to pay for it? What is the attorney doing for Carl?
Okay. Well, first off, it's not the buyer's attorney unless it's a cash deal.
Okay.
It's the lender's attorney. Okay. And the lender's attorney is putting together a lot of information for both parties. For instance, when you run the title, you've got to go through all of the paperwork, all of the different transactions that the sellers had, make sure everything's, above board, that it's all taken care of. So you're making sure that when that seller signs a deed, he actually has the ability to sign the deed. You don't want any of those liens to keep popping back. Plus, there's payoffs that have to be picked up, taxes that you've got to find and prorate. There's a fair amount of work that's done on behalf or on the seller's behalf. Same as for the buyer. And if you look at the numbers, the seller doesn't pay nearly as much as the buyer pays. But it's not the buyer's attorney. But there's also doc prep. If you bring your own deed to the closing, generally you can get that waived, but it's not like most people have a deed sitting around in their back pocket that they can put together that clicks off all the boxes for recordability and accuracy and all that sort of thing.
Got it. So
and getting payoffs up, making sure liens get released. It's a bunch of stuff, actually.
That gets done by the attorney. So hopefully, Carl, you see that there is a reason to have the attorney that's handling the closing working on your behalf as well. All right, so we had cicadas, folks. We just got through that. Now we've got coming up stink bugs, and they're tough if they're in your house. So I had a report, and Brad, Chuck, feel free to jump in if you know how to get rid of stink bugs. So one thing is good is vacuuming, right? We know that that's a great way to do it, but you got to get rid of the bag or whatever you're vacuuming things into. So there's a detergent. You can combine equal parts of liquid detergent and water in a spray bottle, and then employ it to drench any stink bugs that you encounter or spots where you suspect that they're hiding. And another option is add the detergent water solution to a small open container, and using a pop stick or a popsicle stick or a gloved hand, knock or drop the stink bugs into the liquid as you find them. Something else, this is kind of a weird one, nicotine. For once, you could be glad if you have a smoker in the house, shed get those cigarettes, shred them up, put them into a volume of water, use about 20 cigarettes worth of tobacco for every gallon, let the mixture soak overnight. In the morning, strain out the debris, and next add about 2 tablespoons of dish detergent, and then that liquid remains, and you can funnel that into the spray bottle and spray the stink bugs as you find them. I don't know about our listeners and you guys, but I mean, I see them come into the house every once in a while, and it's annoying. You don't want to crush them. Something else is you could do the electricity method. You can hang in a windowless attic or other similarly dark space in your home a run-of-the-mill bug zapper that can work wonders. I guess you put them in the attic so you don't get the smell when they get zapped. So those are some of the things that are suggestions for getting rid of stink bugs when we see them coming this next couple of months.
And I think your first bit of information, I think, was the best part, Bob, is just don't squish them. Don't squish them.
Well,
don't squish them.
What about the assault rifle?
I don't think I would want to use the assault rifle on the inside. I mean, maybe outside, but yeah, I let stink bugs go, and I just stay away from them. But it's not like they're going to shoot you with the nasty stuff. Just don't squish them.
Yeah, but the smell is terrible. I mean,
it's bad.
If you have not encountered them, folks, just take note. You don't want to squish it, right? All right, we're out of time, and so my thanks going out to Chuck Crosby. The Crosby Law Office is at 499-6360. Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service, 844-411-TEAM is his direct number. And then you can reach me. Son Greg's over on vacation this week, but you can reach me anytime at 376-5483. That's 376-5483. All right, out of time. See you next Sunday on News Radio 840 WHAS.